This is the Dogon podcast, and today we're going to talk about Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
There's a lot going on in that world, and we just kind of wanted to take a minute and just talk about Mr. Beast in general. I mean, I kind of remember watching him when he was first starting out doing videos.
Right. I think I remember a few videos of him just like giving out money to like pizza delivery drivers or just like simple stuff like that. But
yeah, I think his first video was like, I'm going to give $10,000 out to this guy, and and the video is going to go viral, and he convinced the advertiser that he was working with, I guess, to do it. And it was a success from there, and he kind of built off that model.
Right.
I've spent a lot of time watching his videos, most importantly, like how they start, and as well as what his thumbnails are, just because it's like, if you want to try to appeal to more people, if you want to get a higher click-through rate, Mr. Beast is probably a good guy to study.
Right. I mean, he has been under a lot of fire recently for sure, but
yeah,
he definitely knows how to get people to watch him for at least.
Yeah, no, he definitely has the science down of viewership. And one thing I didn't realize he did initially, but he would actually translate all of his little videos and stuff like that into many different languages. And so like he had like millions of followers in different countries, and it helped him get that status or clout that advertisers wanted to see. Yeah. And I kind of found that wild. But yeah, he's, I guess his early partner, has gone through a personal transition in their life, and it's also kind of led back to like some inappropriate text messages to like underage people or something like that.
Minors and such. I mean, I've read a good amount about it, but it just seems like, I don't know, a whole lot of hoopla.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, it's kind of interesting to see how, Mr. Beast has handled this, and how he's been like slowly distancing himself. But now there's like videos coming out where people are saying like, oh, he knew about these inappropriate grooming actions or stuff like that. Right. With Chris. There's definitely been some weirdness there. But we were just watching one of his videos, and it was like, man, I wish I would have been picked for that. Right. The one where he paid guys $10,000 a day to stay out in the wilderness and survive. And it's like, I would have made it the whole year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what it takes, I'm going to be out there and doing whatever the fuck it is for, $400,000, of course.
Yeah, like, I mean, and, I was saying, like, I would even eat, bugs if I had to. Like, I'd stay out there.
See, I don't know if I can do that, but I would figure out
for $10,000 a day? You wouldn't eat bugs?
I couldn't.
What?
I could not eat a bug for no amount of money.
I distinctly remember a conversation about doing something for $1 million, and you were like, "Yup," and it was like, "You won't eat bugs, but you'll do that." Like, that's fucked up to me.
Hey man, however I can get my change.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so you wouldn't eat bugs though? Like, if you had no other choice?
It depends. If someone comes up here with a briefcase full of fucking bugs and money, I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, there's no question. I'd be like, I mean, as long as it's not like a bug that has like, some type of parasitic property to it where it like, grows inside your body, I'm gonna eat that shit.
I don't know. I just don't think I can do it.
And I'm somebody, I could never like normally do that, but $10,000 a day, I don't know. I would have been camped up, feeling nice. I mean, I would have been focused a lot more on creating fishing, traps and stuff like that, rather than just trying to fish like they were. But yeah, that was just one video where I watched like 10 minutes all the way through, and so it's a good indicator. Like, people like to see, regular everyday people going through, some weird, wild challenge because it gets you like in that mode of like, man, if I could get that money, if I could get that, that is fun. Like, I want to do that, and I don't know. He even redid, what was that that movie that he redid or whatever? He like built an entire movie set. It was like, it was something about where he redid a movie, and it was like a game where you're eliminated if you like mess up, or if you, I never got into the movie either.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'll try to find it real quick. I bet it'll come right up. But what else have you read about the whole controversy with Mr. Beast?
Really just a bunch of messages coming out about him or her or whoever the fuck interacting with, people who are like, 14, 13, joking around, I get, or joking. I don't know if they're joking or not, but they're saying a lot of inappropriate things, things that definitely should not be said around minors or to minors, joking about like sexually explicit things.
I think that was Chris, the second person, like, Jimmy, or known as Mr. Beast. I think I don't know if I saw anything about him saying
no, not Mr. Beast. I was talking about
Chris
or whoever the fuck. But I don't know. And I saw.
It was Squid Game. That's what it was. I was like, I didn't really watch that movie, but yeah, it was Squid Game.
I actually did see that movie. It was all right.
Yeah, so he reenacted that whole thing and made like all those Squid Game challenges.
I think I did watch those videos as well, but it's been a while. But I don't know. It's getting dicey. I don't know if I don't know the validity of a lot of it, but it is interesting to follow. I guess one of the biggest YouTubers.
Yeah, like I just want to know how this, like, when the dust settles, like, what's going to happen. And
yeah, I mean, there's a couple different YouTubers now that are starting to create videos about how they worked for them or whatever, and exposing like the working conditions there, or like the way, I guess, Mr. Beast runs things in his company. Yeah.
Well, apparently Mr. Beast or Jimmy is the one who like ordered to have an investigation done into the allegations of what was going on.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
And, so I mean, at least he has some type of action that he's taking to try to find out if wrong was done, like, and then what it's hampered.
Right.
But I think
I know that he does put up a lot of like face saving things, or I don't know if he's 100% honest about a lot of his PR things, I guess.
I agree. He's definitely putting on a whole show, but
I mean, I get it. You're running a business or whatever, but
multi-billion-dollar business. Like I think YouTube offered him like a couple $1 billion or something to buy his channel, and he said no. That's crazy.
I don't know if. Well, I guess there are allegations against Mr. Beast for bad work conditions or whatever, but I don't know if that. I guess I don't know the validity of it, so I don't know if I should speak too much on it. But
well, yeah, I mean, we're just kind of talking about it. I mean, that's for me, it's not something that I've spent a lot of time researching. I've just seen the buzz. So like, we just like to talk about what we've kind of seen and what is being portrayed. We may not know the details, but it's interesting to see how the the little bits that you do see influence your thought process, where people are like, oh, there's some bad stuff going on, or so and so did this, or but apparently Mr. Beast had used inappropriate language earlier in his career, and over the years he has repeatedly apologized and learned increase, so it's like it seems that he maybe he had his own issues early on. And he's probably wised up a little bit when it comes to what you should say or how you should act.
He's gained more of a political correctness to him for PR reasons, I guess. And then I know Chris also engaged in a lot of that, but I don't know if he really got rid of it after a while. It just kind of stuck with him.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Chris actually stepped away from the company recently.
Yeah, he did after she or whoever.
Yeah, no disrespect.
I just mess up on that stuff.
Yeah,
by default, but I'm trying to get better. Anyways, what was I saying?
That Chris stepped away.
Yeah, Chris stepped away after those recent allegations, and another thing is. He has a bunch of artwork from a certain artist who draws, children in certain positions they should never be in. You know what I mean?
Mr. Beast does?
No. Ava bought things from this person.
Oh, Ava's, Chris. Okay, so Ava is Chris's new name.
Ava is Chris.
Got it. All right, now I got it.
I get them mixed up. I don't know. It's a whole fucking whatever.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was. I thought she was going by Chris Tyson still, so I didn't know it was Ava.
It was Ava Chris Tyson, I guess, is the full title. But I don't know. I'm not getting into any of that. But I know that they bought a bunch of artwork from Shadman, which is this person who draws a bunch of horrible things. I mean, it's just
really,
yeah, horrible things.
That is fucked up.
And I remember, do you know
when you say they bought, do you mean Ava or
yeah, Ava?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
when I say they, I'm speaking of them. But,
got it.
And I know. Do you know who Keemstar is?
No.
He actually, the artist, drew his daughter in like a sexually explicit way to like, I forget what the terms were or why he was doing it, but he did that. And
who cares what the terms were? You know, that's
I know,
weird.
It doesn't matter about
and
that.
Like being an artist and taking the time to like do that,
I know.
the detail, like that's messed up.
And you know, I don't know. I think that whole situation is just fucked up. Like,
see, I didn't even
really defend that.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was that crazy, and I hope Mr. Beast never spent money on that.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, he's been in videos next to like the pictures and stuff, but it wasn't his stuff. It was all Ava or Chris or whatever the fuck.
That's not cool.
Yeah,
I
mean,
I didn't realize that.
No, yeah, that's a pretty big thing that kind of turned me off of it. But
wow, yeah. See, like I've always researched, Mr. Beast in a positive way to try to learn from his videos and what he's done. But, just recently I started to see some of this negative, and I just thought it was, kind of a battle between like the non-transgender and the transgender community where there's like that opposition of like, you can't just change your sex. You can't. So I thought it was like that.
A lot of it's not even necessarily to do with the fact that he's transgender. It's more of like all these terrible things that he's doing or she's doing at the same time. Like,
now I get that. And at first I was just kind of blown that off because I assumed it was just because of like the, transgender stuff. And then I heard like, communication with a minor. And then I was like,
I mean, at first it was a lot about, the transgender thing and whatever. And people were hating on that, which is, I mean, who gives a fuck what people do with their life? But after that, they came out with like messages to like minors and, that artwork, which is a huge one for me. Yeah,
no, that artwork is kind of like, I understand if you're talking to somebody and, you mess up and you go a little too far with a joke of some sort. Now, I'm not saying that I would do that, but I understand if you're just like, if you're working on a set of Mr. Beast and you're making tons of money every day and you're just like you may forget the political correctness.
You can say things that aren't right. But a lot of these messages and such were in like different Discord channels that like almost 90% of the people were children,
That's fucked up.
And it's like they have like a whole channel for like not safe for work things that is all porn and stuff like that. And it's like, no kids should be in here doing all that shit,
That is messed up, man. And like, how does this artist not get, I mean,
it's not illegal technically.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, like, I'm all for individual freedom and expression, but like, that should be considered child pornography or something.
I think so, but they call it lolly or some shit, and they're allegedly like 1,000-year-old fucking dragons or whatever, but they're kids.
That's fucking.
I know, it's nuts.
Lolly, like that.
When I learned about that, I mean, that really blew my mind.
That sounds like some demonic type shit.
It is really shitty, and I mean, a lot of people do support this artist still, and I just don't understand how they have any following.
That's so fucked up. Like, yeah, how can you?
Like, I don't know. It's very strange to me.
I gotta look this up, dude. You're blowing my mind. Shadman, like Chad?
Like SHAD man. It is one of the craziest things I've seen.
So how is this Shadman able to exist? Like, that is just so crazy to me.
I mean, there's a lot of fucked up people out there.
I don't even want to click on these links.
A lot of you might find some really terrible artwork, but I mean, it doesn't only draw children. It's like, cartoons and shit of, I mean, he purely draws porn, that's for sure, but
that's just wild. That's just looking at some of this stuff. If he does this with kids,
he does. Absolutely.
That is fucked up.
And he thinks it's funny too. It's the worst part.
That is just evil. Like, that is evil on another level. That has to be considered child pornography. That should not be.
Yeah,
legal.
I mean, it's legally sound, but it shouldn't be.
Gosh, just like Hunter Biden's art gallery in New York. Like how?
I mean, I don't know about that, but I'm sure it's terrible.
He's selling finger paintings for like millions of dollars.
Damn.
Money laundering in broad daylight. And people don't realize that's why a lot of artists. That's why the NFT game blew up for a minute too, just because you can write off art purchases tax-wise, and nobody establishes the value of an art piece except for the person who purchases it.
Right.
So it's a way for you to launder or clean like
large amount of
millions of dollars because you bought this fucking finger painting from and that's just crazy to me that loophole still exists, but it's weird. But man, I cannot believe that fucking Shadman shit. That is so fucked up.
That's one of the things that like solidified like this is a piece of shit, Well,
Mr. Beast is doing a good job at confusing the masses and leaving like an almost unknown aspect of where people aren't associating Shadman with Mr. Beast right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe that'll change. Maybe that'll get closer and closer because, it'd be terrible if Mr. Beast was buying art from this guy too.
Because I don't think anybody should be supporting this person after what he's done,
If there's one inappropriate picture of a child,
there's large amounts. I mean,
that's
probably large amounts.
Yeah, the internet's doing a pretty good job at just showing like, adults, type of looking stuff. But like I said,
I'm pretty sure he probably has like different tiers of whatever the fuck he's doing. Of where you can get terrible shit.
Yeah, like you got your regular demonic, then you got your super demonic, and then
I don't know anything about it, of course, but it's just like, man, it's crazy.
And man, I'm definitely going to research this more because I can't believe that something like that is in existence.
It's been around for years and years. I know that.
Jeez, oh Pete. I hope that Banksy guy is not a bad guy. Like, I hope that artist is still cool. He's like that street artist.
But
he does like these, paints these art pieces overnight in random parts of the city on like old buildings or sometimes new ones.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he's supposed to be a good guy. He even has some, he's kind of like a trickster artist. So I don't think he's anything like this Shadman guy, but it's just like, I almost have a high respect for all artists where, I expect that they're just like expressing themselves through paintings and pictures.
Yeah.
But I can't get behind.
I know.
Shit. Like what?
It's one of the most controversial artists that I know of for sure. But
yeah, I mean, I've seen some controversial artists who paint some, graphic scenes of like death and stuff, or like pill bottles or some type of drug,
like a different level of what the fuck.
Yeah. Like, and it's weird how every area of society is like getting pierced by this, like child fixation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Disgustingness.
It's like spreading across YouTube and across, different. I mean, I guess they have lots of access to children who like what they do, so it's like they take advantage of that.
That's just so messed up, man. I'm curious if this is going to go further with Mr. Beast and if people are going to make this Shadman connection and somehow like
I don't know if it's anything to do with Mr. Beast, but Chris for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many videos does Mr. Beast have out there around his own personal dwellings and stuff? Like, when he was showing where he was living in like a, like a small shipping container home or something, like is there any of those pictures in the background in those videos? Like that.
I mean, I think people would have scrubbed it already, but they have seen it in Chris's room, or I mean, Mr. Beast was next to it, and he's obviously able to see it. But
that's so crazy. That blows my mind. But if you guys haven't heard anything about that, definitely look into it, research it, figure it out.
Oh yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all. Everything I've said so far is definitely true to a point. I mean, I've seen it off different channels, but
I mean, unless somebody is just blindly misleading, and we're not trying to get any type of like cease or desist or aggravation from Mr. Beast by any means. We're just talking about this, and like I said, I've always had a lot of respect for Jimmy, and thought he was a good guy, and still think maybe he the way he's reacted to this.
He puts a lot of face on for the public.
Yeah.
So I don't really know his true intentions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of find it interesting that his videos started with giving people money, and he's given people back, like thousands of people back their site, and he's done a lot of really cool videos where he's helped people out, bought them new cars, new homes, so it's like, is there, that has always led me to be like, oh, this guy is a good guy. Is that a part of the act?
It also just gains him more and more money. So
yeah, it's
maybe it's just out of greed. I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna find these pictures in the background. I'm gonna see which ones exactly were.
Yeah, if you look it up, I'm sure you'll be able to I mean, I don't think it's anything necessarily explicit towards children on the wall, but it's from the same artist, so he likes that artist. So
yeah, that's
definitely
wild.
not good.
That is just messed up. Yeah, there's a lot of videos and a lot of stuff about it, talking about it for sure. But yeah, I haven't seen the pictures yet that were back on the wall. But man, that is just crazy. That's nuts. I mean, the bigger you are, the harder you'll fall. So I mean, we'll see what happens with Mr. Beast in the future. And I've tried to reach out to him in the past. I've tried to, maybe he'd give us a challenge. I don't know. That'd be
sick.
That'd be so awesome. Oh yeah, I would definitely do it. Hopefully he doesn't choose, like living out in the wilderness or eating bugs, because even though I talk a big game, I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
I'm not going to be eating any bugs, that's for sure, but I'll fucking starve. It doesn't really matter.
Right. Yeah, he'll just become like
I'll eat the fucking tree bark or some shit.
Hey, you can eat, there's some tree barks that you can like get off the bark on the outside, and then there's like this thin layer. Gosh, I can't remember what it's called, but you can actually eat that.
That is cool. I know you can trip off of certain barks too.
Yeah. No, yeah. Ayahuasca is made from a vine, and it's like a bark type material, a vine and a leaf mixed together, and boiled together. But yeah, so you can definitely, imagine just eating the random mushrooms out, like surviving out in the wilderness.
I don't know what the hell I'm eating, but it could kill me.
But yeah, so I'm gonna definitely dive more into this. Probably not gonna do another episode about it unless something big happens.
Right.
But
now
I'm
I don't know,
curious.
It's still unfolding, so
yeah, you're right. Yeah, we'll probably have to do another one on it. But I'm curious to see what Mr. Beast will say and how he'll kind of talk from this point moving on.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
But thank you guys so much for joining us. We're just shooting from the hip, kind of just talking about stuff that we're seeing around the world. It makes it a little bit more fun for us. We kind of get to catch up, and he gets to teach me shit where I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know that shit.
Right.
Man, I should have researched this more.
I don't know. I just like seeing what the YouTubers are up to, I guess. It's just interesting. But
I agree.
We'll
Thanks,
see y'all
guys.
later.